Hello people and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to talk about 5 Lightroom tips that you should know even if you're a beginner or not. And because this is a tutorial type of video, let's stop rambling about it and let's get it. So for tip number 1, I'm going to show you how you can create your own preset that you can use on future photo shoots. So just for demonstration purposes, we have these two BMW photos right here, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing in Lightroom after I'm importing the photos. So first two things that I'm doing, I'm ticking these two boxes over here, and then I'm choosing the lens that I did the photo shoot with, and this happens to be the Sigma 24 to 72.8, and then I'm cropping this photo for Instagram, and let's say, I don't know, this is the framing that I like, even though this is not the framing, but whatever, this is just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going into the basic tab over here, and let's say this is the edit that I'm going for, and I don't know, I really like this edit, and then I just want to, let's say, this pinkish type of tint and whatever, and then I want to save it. Okay, so let's say this is your final edit and you want to save this preset. You're going on the left side over here, you're pressing this plus button, and then you're pressing the create preset, and then this tab pops up, and right over here you can like name your preset, and after that you're pressing the create button, and there you go, you have your own preset. So for trick number 2, I'm going to show you the negative mask, and this is a trick that I learned from Peter McKinnon, and I think this will elevate your photography game as well. So you're in Lightroom over here, you're ticking these two boxes again, and then the next thing that you're doing, you're going into the detail tab, and if you're on Windows, if you're gonna press Alt, this thing will happen, and if you're on Mac, I think it's Command, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. Anyway, if you're on Windows, you're gonna press Alt, and then you're swiping right over here, and this will happen on your screen, and depending on how your photo will look with the final edit, and depending how you want the photo to look, this is what you're doing to see the sharp edges in your photo. So number 3, I picked the linear filters, and I'm going to show you in a second why I love linear filters. For example, we have this photo over here, and let's say we're going to bump the shadows up to 60, for example, 65. And when I bump the shadows up to 65, of course, I bump the shadows of the ground as well. But I want the ground to be a little bit more grungy, I don't know, I want it a little bit darker. So what I'm doing right now, I'm going over here where the gradiated filter is, I like to call it linear filter. So then I'm like doing this thing over here like that, and let's say I want the ground to be a little bit more underexposed. So this is what I'm doing right now. Maybe I'm adding a little bit of clarity, I'm just bumping the shadows but not too much, so something like that. Because this is affecting the car too. Now if you're pressing O, you're gonna see the range of the filter, and then if you're going on the right side over here where the brush is, and then you're going on erase down here, then you can just like erase the parts of the car, but then you can like keep the ground as you want it. So this should look something like this. Keep in mind that this is just like a fast thing just for this tutorial video, but this should look something like this. Number 4, the adjustment brush, and I know that I said that I'm a fan of the gradient filters, but I'm a fan of the adjustment brush as well. So let me show you what the adjustment brush does. For example, we're going over here and we have like exposure, we have highlights, contrast, whatever. You can do like a personalized mask on a photo depending on what you want. So we're gonna do like an exposure mask over here, and again we're pressing O, and let's say I'm bothered with this like window over here and I want it a little bit darker. So even though this is not perfect, just for demonstration purposes, like I said, this is what you're gonna do over here, and you can like darken just like specific parts of a photo. Let's say something like this, maybe shadows a little bit, and then we have here as well, we can press O again, and we can make this one as well. And yes, the final product is not perfect because this takes a lot of time, but let's say you want a specific part of the photo to be a little bit darker or a little bit more contrasty than the rest of the photo, or more saturated or whatever, this is what you're doing. So last but not least, number 5, the color mask, and I'm going to explain in a second what the color mask does. For example, in this photo over here, we have the car that is black, we have the taillight that is red, and we have a little bit of nature that is green. So in this photo, it's not that hard to know what colors we have and what's happening in the photo. But if we are going into the HSL tab over here and we are pressing on this like small circle icon, and then we are going and pressing on the taillight over here, and then we are like sliding up or down, we can see on the right over there that in the HSL tab 2 colors are moving, the red and the orange, because these are the 2 colors that are existing in the tail light of the car. So this is something that is helping me to like identify colors in a picture that is way more colorful than this one. But just for demonstration purposes, right over here we have these 2 colors. So that's the video, people. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you're gonna use one of these 5 tips in the future, I can assure you that your photos will look so much better and you can tweak them to perfection. You can give this video a thumbs up if you really liked it. You can tell me in the comments down below what do you think about my 5 Lightroom tips that I think that you should know. And as always, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.